Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the NPP YouTube channel. Today, I'm very excited for our Meet the Editor interview with Dr. Arpana Agrawal. She is the James and Juanita Whitmer Professor in the Department of Psychiatry at Washington University in St. Louis School of Medicine. She received her doctoral degree from the Medical College of Virginia at Virginia Commonwealth University and subsequently completed postdoctoral training at WashU Med. Dr. Agrawal is an expert in psychiatric and behavioral genetics and genomics, and her research aims to understand how genetic contributions interact with behavioral and social factors to contribute to substance use and substance use disorders. Today, we're chatting with Dr. Agrawal about her recent appointment as the newest associate editor at NPP. Dr. Agrawal, could you tell us a little bit more about your background and expertise in science?
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you so much for asking. So my background is actually in quantitative genetic methods for the study of addiction specifically. During my PhD at VCU, I actually used data from pairs of identical and fraternal twins on whom my mentors had collected a lot of data on psychopathology, substance use, and substance use disorders. And I was most interested in cannabis use disorder. So we use these data to really disaggregate the extent to which genetic and environmental factors contribute to variance in substance use and substance use behaviors. And I also use these twin-based analyses where you're kind of just guessing at the extent of genetic influence to study the assumptions that underlie the then controversial gateway hypothesis, which is mainly the idea that individuals who use cannabis at an early age might be at increased likelihood of potentially using and misusing other substances. I then moved to WashU Med, where I began to move from those twin-based genetic factors that are unmeasured to measured genetic factors and the statistical genomic methods that are associated for identifying actual genetic variation. Things like linkage studies back in the day, and then genome-wide association studies. And right now, I coordinate several gene discovery efforts of multiple substance use disorders. And I've also started to work with other omics data, so transcriptomics and proteomics. I also have, beyond genetics, a related interest in studying the impact of prenatal substance exposure and exposure that occurs in early life. And while I'm interested in really all forms of substance use and substance use disorder, my favorite areas of curiosity lie in cannabis, opioids, and alcohol, and their comorbidities with physical and mental health.
Wow, that's very impressive. How do you think that your expertise in genetics and genomics can add to the research that's currently published in NPP?
In my opinion, NPP really serves as a one-of-a-kind outlet for some of the most innovative and rigorous research on really a wide array of biological mechanisms that underlie brain and behavior connections. So, if I'm writing a paper and I'm trying to craft my introduction, NPP is the first place I go to look for a good reference on a contemporary, innovative, rigorous study. And I think the time is really ideal for the field of genetics and genomics to be making really major contributions to our understanding of these brain behavior pathways, right? We're seeing, truly unprecedented advances in genetics, in epigenetics, and proteomics, and a variety of other omics discoveries, right? Lipidomics, metabolics, and they can be brought to bear upon our understanding of disease etiology. And while I'm really confident that genetics and genomics are getting much closer to the underlying molecular and cellular mechanisms of the diseases that we study, I'm also really curious and excited about all the new computational and experimental approaches that we can now use to really link these discoveries that we're making, both at a basic sciences level and at the preclinical level, to novel pharmacotherapeutics discoveries. So I'm really hoping that my role as a genetics and omics focused associate editor will allow me to ensure that we feature, the most cutting edge findings in genetics and genomics at NPP. And from what I've seen so far, I think everyone is going to be in for a real treat with what we have to showcase.
Well, we're really, really looking forward to having your expertise join us. What do you most look forward to in your appointment as associate editor?
Being an associate editor has for me two major bonuses. The first is you get kind of the trailer version, the preview to really fantastic studies. So sometimes I'll open up a paper and I'll start reviewing it and I have to just stop and go, wow, did they really just do that? So it's really reassuring to me to realize that scientific innovation and the kind of papers that we get at NPP will never fail to surprise and excite me. And I really, truly love that aspect of the editorial work. The second one is reading the feedback that we get from our expert reviewers. I want to take a moment to thank all of the scientists that take the time to do such a rigorous and timely review for NPP. And I learned so much from all of you. Given the scope of submissions that we get, the topics and variety that we see, it's really like having my personal mentors, because on any topic, our reviewers are going to see such unique aspects of the manuscript that they really build upon the submission, and their feedback always adds so much more depth to a manuscript. So I really learn from their feedback. So if you're listening, please do consider submitting your best genetics and genomics work to NPP. And if you have the time, we will be so grateful to have your reviews of the papers that we see at NPP.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Agrawal. If you haven't already, please check out the latest articles published in NPP here on the screen or through the link in the video description below. As always, please feel free to comment or reach out on Blue Sky or Twitter if you have any questions.